Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one, if you're like me, you're struggling to decide what to do with your tokens, what to pick, who to maybe take to 6-star first, and you're probably finding it difficult to make a decision. So, few disclosures, this video, everything is just my opinion. I mean, like, we're very early on, so some of my ideas could be completely off base. So take everything with a grain of salt, do your own research, but I'm going to try and give you some tools that will help a little bit and some thoughts that maybe will help you reach a good decision for your roster. So all of that being said, we have the tokens here. We'll just start off here. I do also want to say this may be very helpful for some people and maybe not so much for others. If you're one of those people that know exactly who you want to take up and you happen to have enough shards for them, I don't know how much this video will help you. But I think most players, if you're like me, I don't have enough shards to take anyone that I had planned on taking to 6-star up. So deciding what to do here is difficult. I have 12 tokens. I can get 10 of one class, 2 of another. I could go 6 and 6 and try to do it that way. We maybe talk about some of that strategy toward the end, but they're on the prize wall. Got a day and 15 hours, so I should have this video up and give you guys a day to mull it over. So hopefully it's enough time. Okay, so 6-star and some initial thoughts. Again, I don't know that this will hold true, but early on, it seems like the choke point will probably be shards and not tokens. I feel like 3 months from now, if I do a video, I will be in a lot better place to take people token wise than I am in shard wise, and I'm not in a good spot shard wise right now. So the first thing I kind of did is broke this down into styles. I don't have everyone listed, but I have some possible choices and also high shard count people, and we'll kind of talk about that. So if you look at this one right here, it's focused. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just make it bigger while we're talking about it. We got this is at Striker, Stunning Steve, Rocker Sean, Zombie Drew. The asterisk denotes likely a high shard count for you now or sometime later. He was the free card. Typically we get a ton of shards of them. And the plus sign is meaningful gear. Okay, I got IOW Taker. I don't put all the IOWs on here, but in a few cases I do. Like I didn't put Batista on or Charlotte or that type of thing. We don't have tokens for them yet. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. But in a few cases I did, just to kind of fill out the list a little bit. Zombie Page and Rhonda. So with the way converting shards works, and let me minimize this now. We'll come back to this, but with the way converting shards works, you can only convert shards for the same style. So let's say we go into Hall of Fame Dusty here, and yes, I don't have tokens yet, it's fine, we're using it as an example. You see he's a aggressive striker. So if we go to info, and then we go to evolve, then we go to convert, I can only convert shards from other aggressive strikers. Meaning, Dusty is only fighting other aggressive strikers for shards. So from a shard perspective, we're not dividing people by classes anymore to evolve them. It's classes and style shards, right? So if I evolve Dusty, that's going to be less shards for someone else of the same style. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to pop this back up now and go back to this. So that means I would have a choice between if we were on Dusty's page, right? But in this case, if I wanted to take Rocker Sean and Stunning Steve, they'd be fighting each other for shards. So that being said, if you use these shards, they will only affect this style. So like, let's say you're nowhere near having enough for Rocker Sean, right? Because he's going to take a bunch. And actually, we'll use this as an example because I actually have him. Let's go into my Rocker Sean. Oh no, I can't. He's not gold. Let's go into my Stunning Steve. I have 540 shards for my Stunning Steve. We go to evolve him. We click convert. And let's say I decide I'll use all of my shards, even my A tiers, and hit max. You can see I'm still 1600 shards away. So it's going to take a while to get enough shards to level old Stunning Steve for me here, right? So back here. So Stunning Steve it's going to take a while, and he's not really fighting anyone, and the conversion rate is really low. So let's say I had enough for Zombie Drew, and I happen to have excess tokens 3 months from now that are just sitting there. Maybe I decide to take Zombie Drew. That's kind of why I've listed this way. And asterisk means someone you're likely to have a lot of shards of, like Striker Ronda. They just gave away a 4-star gold poster. So that's how this is divided. So like for Striker on this list, some of these I'll call out. I think Rocker Sean is by far the best focus striker you could take to 6-star, right? Powerhouse here, for focused, we got Keith Lee, Sheamus, Biggie, Earthquake, Motu Macho, Mutant Bailey, Stacy, China's a feud bag person, so likely high shards, and Zombie Charlotte. I mean, on this list, especially if you have a Titan plate, I think Keith Lee is the pretty easy winner on this list, right? So you go to Trickster, and Trickster you're going to find there's not a lot of good 6-star options. See, we got all in here. Becky is probably the best option at Trickster. Carmella and Blue Blood are people you likely have high shard counts for. So these are the only people you're fighting with for shards of other classes. So hopefully this will help, and I'm going to do this for each style. There's 4 styles. Acrobat, Mutant Roman, Hall of Fame Brett, Acro Ray. I do want to shout Acro Ray out as a solid 6-star choice that a lot of people have a lot of shards of. Snoop and Liv. So Ray is only going to take like what, 4,000 shards, and you probably have like 20,000, and at that conversion rate it's not going to really take away from your other classes. So 2 months from now you get Acrobat tokens, and we got plenty, and you're nowhere close to your other ones in this style, or you don't have anyone else you want to work on. Maybe you work on Acrobat Ray. And speaking of Acrobat Ray, some of these I'll flip over to the portal. Actually, I'll wait till the end so we can get through this, because then maybe everyone doesn't want to stick around for that part of the video. Showboat, Mutant Ray, Otis, likely, possible high shard count, maybe not, it's tough to say. Mutant Cena, Showboat Austin, and Showboat Charlotte. The plus means viable gear, and so if you have all of her gears, maybe she's viable with that, possibly. Earthquake should have a +2 and doesn't. So, and that doesn't mean Mutant Cena is a good choice. Or Showboat Austin is a good choice. I haven't done all the research on all the free ones. Some of them I have, and we'll probably talk about them. Some of them I haven't. Technician, I really like Kofi at 6-star. I think he would be a phenomenal choice. We'll actually get to that more later. Gargano, Booker T, Bruno, all possible high shard count guys. Priest, Alundra, and Tech Asuka, a really great sleeper pick as a female tech that you have loads and loads of shards for. We can talk more about that later. So that's that list. Go ahead and screenshot it if you want, etc. I'm going to pull the defensive one up now. This one is much smaller list in general. There's not very many good defensive style options. So this one is one you may end up taking people sooner rather than later. Striker, you got Braun. And like I said, there are more. I didn't list all of them. I wanted to keep this at least somewhat simple. So there are better options, in my opinion. If I left someone off, I'm sorry. But I just tried to give people some options. NWO Ted, possible likely higher shard count. RJ, Austin 316 with gear. He can do some things, so maybe not the worst one if you're looking for a striker and he's the only one you have a bunch of shards for. Bischoff. Powerhouse, you got Hall of Fame Yoko with gears. He's really nasty. Booker T, someone you're likely to have high shard count. Walter has gear, and also someone likely to have high shard count. Walter's a pretty solid shout here for a lot of players. Might be your best defensive powerhouse option. Likely that's the case. And then you got Luke. So I'm not going to actually read probably all of these. Trickster, though, Zombie Mankind, Sammy, I do actually, as much as I hate this, and sorry community, I am going to single out Booker T. He would not be a terrible choice. He's going to be super annoying, super hard to deal with. You can feud, you can showdown with him. Neither will be fast or super fast, but he is going to be really tough to get through. Acrobat, I love Dom. I think he's a great choice. Hurricane is possible good free-to-play choice. If you don't have a ton of shards now, likely you will soon. You got Bailey and Nikki as high shard counts too. Not sure, maybe Nikki possible. as a decent 6-star choice if, you know, that's all you got sort of thing. Showboat, not a lot here in this class at all. 1, 2, 3 Kid and Roman and Miz. And then you got high shard counts in Booker and Lacey. Wouldn't advise either of those. Same thing, Technician with Jake. Would not advise that. But you got Bailey, the only female defensive tech. I think maybe one of the only few defensive style females. Hall of Fame Snoop's a really good shout there. And Mutant Andre as well. There's just not a lot to choose from there on the defensive end. So that's defensive. Chaotic and aggressive. These two are loaded in most classes. You'll see a few they're not, but most classes they are. Striker is a class I really don't love a lot of, just looking at it. So I think Rocker Sean is the best striker to take. After that, right now, it's really hard to tell for me. King Macho is probably still a really good choice. RVD potentially, although bleeds do suffer. Moving up, it looks like Sid, possible high shard count, etc., etc. Sasha's a decent option here as well, by the way. I think she's actually a decent option. Powerhouse, I love both choices, really. KO and Mutant Seth are amazing. Dawkins is likely high shard count, missed the asterisk there. Trickster, don't really love any of these. Lana is somebody that could showdown and feud potentially, maybe not amazingly, but she can do both, and a high shard count. Jinder does get a purple move that does purple damage based off of purple gems, so kind of like really not as good Montez with that build. You'd have to look into it. Probably not. I'm not actually like recommending it, but it's there. Don't love any of the Trickster choices really. Acrobat, this is a very strong class. Very strong class. So and this I don't think is Mutant Bliss. I actually think I forgot to put Mutant Bliss on, so let me see where she falls. I don't have her. She's one I missed. So Mutant Bliss isn't on this list. I'm gonna check that. Actually, let's just go women. This will be much faster. Mutant Bliss I did forget to put. She's aggressive, so when we get to aggressive, she should be on there. Okay. But Chaotic Acrobat, super good with Motu Austin. Another fantastic choice. HBK and Warrior are both this one. I think there's a lot of potential to take either of them. As far as high shard counts, Motu Triple H, his 6-star move changes multiply gems to blue, so he can do some stuff that way. King Nakamura, not bad at all. And then you probably have a high shard count for Acro Bliss. Motu Triple H, I think it gets a little bit better. I'm not saying he's amazing, but it is probably a viable option for people missing the ones above there. Showboat, JBL has a kick out. He's going to be a handful. Montez has the drain move, as well as other stuff. Orton's got multiply gems as well as the punt kick. So and that works off of the Juggernaut, so that potentially with the sub has got some stuff. Lawler for free to play high shard count. Dango and Fiend, not really probably great choices unless you have a high gem defense strap for Dango, and you can cheese wins. Molly, I think the two best females you could take would be Molly and Liv. I love both of those as 6-star choices, and Naomi is Chaotic. So again, these are who you're fighting with. If you take one of these, it'll be much longer till you can take another. That's the point of the list here. Riddle, really like Riddle, another guy that can showdown and feud. Low charge moves, multiply gems. Sako gets a really good sub. Hall of Fame Eddie, high shard count. He gets some Destroy Rose. That's maybe okay. Zombie Edge is one I don't love that I think a lot of people do like. His gems is a tertiary gem. They do not go up very much. I would not expect to see you hitting super hard, that much harder than you do now with Zombie Edge. So I would caution on Zombie Edge. I think he's one that's overrated going into 6-star. Jay is a great option for high shard count with the Z plate and the stuff he can do there. You got Dawkins, new Razor, super good. He'll be really good. Then you got Tech Rhea. high shard count, so one you can do naturally. And the natural ones, guys, you save a ton of shards, so that's why we're going to be talking about them too. Aggressive. Let's take a look at that. Again, Acro Bliss should be on this one. Very few people have her, so sorry, but she should be on this one. So you'd also be fighting with Acro Bliss shards. Edge is one I think a lot of people are going to like because of his sub. However, keep in mind he doesn't recycle super well off of the sub because of the turns. Those snowfall gems just keep going lower and lower on the board, so they lose a lot of meaning. Striker, this one has a lot of them. High shard counts for Rhea and Shamrock. I think Hall of Fame Dusty would be my best pick out of these. Hall of Fame Hogan, okay. Powerhouse, this is one worth talking about, I think. I think a lot of people have Sika shards. If you got the chaotic or the Titan plate, Sika's a good option. I don't think he's going to probably blow you away. And also, most of us don't have a feud promoter for him, so if you're thinking about taking your powerhouse first, just know you're likely nerfing your feud score if you care about that. So I would caution all powerhouses in general, unless you have promoter taker or you don't care about promoters. Sika likely will be doing with the Titan plate at bronze somewhere between like 1.5 and 3 million turn 1, but we're looking at 10 to 20 million health pools depending on what you're going up against. So you're probably going to get turn 2 and 3 wins with Sika, and there's going to be a lot of turn 2 and 3 wins, but just don't expect to win turn 1. Kane gets 6 MP on his gear, super high shard count, he might be an option. Hogan, don't love him. Roman with all of his gears might be an option. You also might have a high shard count, don't 100% love it. Zombie Rhea I think is going to be pretty effective. Motu Becky gets a great 6-star move, so she benefits huge. Beth, a high shard count, maybe that's an option. Trickster, I put IOW HBK because there's so few options at aggressive Trickster. There's just not a lot there, so you can see what you got there. I don't love any of them actually to bronze. Acrobat, Shelton is a really great sleeper choice. RVD, high shard count, Andrade, maybe some interesting stuff there. Andrade, if his 6-star move is right, is really interesting. And then of course you got Acro Steamboat and Bliss. Acro Steamboat should be a great choice as well. Showboat, Zombie Lashley, Lex, IOW Batista, Bulldog, and Mutant Priest I have listed as a high shard count, even though you likely don't have it yet because he was an MLC one. I think he's a great sleeper pick at aggressive Showboat. And then Technician, love DX Army Triple H, think he's a great choice. Becky, Tech Becky, super high shard count. If you have her gear, she's a really good choice, 300% off of her gear. And then if you have the Uso cap plate, she's really interesting. Ronda picks up a stun with the turns being extended. Shayna's botch build, which sometimes didn't win on turn 1 for board reasons and whatnot, gains more benefit, I think, with turns being extended, so that's an option. Ciampa, high shard count. Brock, Jimmy, Zombie Seth gets a really interesting 6-star move, so he's worth looking at. And I don't know how well Steamboat is going to scale, but I love my Steamboat. I just don't know that it's going to be enough. But so DX Army Triple H for the males is the best one, I think, in this class. Maybe Brock, his sub's going to be really big, but between the two, I would go DX Army Triple H. I think more flexibility, safer. And then Tech Becky, super interesting, and a lot of people have high shard counts for her, but you will want the gear. So anyway, those are those lists. I'm gonna try and rein them in size wise and hold them up, and I hope you understand what I mean when I say you guys are comparing one class or one style to another. That's who you're fighting with for shards, right? So again, if you're like me, I can't take any of the people I had planned on. So looking at this realistically, let's just look at these lists. I'm gonna have them all up. If you look at the lists, what classes jump out to you and why? And this is the way I'm trying to think, because I need to take tokens. I'm also looking at this like I probably will get another set of tokens well before I can take multiple people I want to 6-star based on shards, right? So There's going to be some high shard count options that are going to be good for me. So when I look at the list, I think you're going to get the most bang for your buck just looking at this out of 3 classes in particular, and probably more so 2 than 3. So for me, I don't have a promoter, and if you look at the powerhouse list, it's quite small in general, and I don't have a powerhouse promoter. So instantly they won't help me feud better, and I definitely want my 6-star who will get me the most points in feud to have a promoter. So I'm instantly throwing powerhouse out of my decision making. You might not like that, but I'm just explaining why I am. Striker, I really only like one striker aside from Hall of Fame Dusty and Wendy to go bronze. I only like one, and that's Rocker Sean. So I would recommend most people like stay away from striker in general. That's not to say others aren't good. That's just the vibe or the feeling I get. I could be totally wrong. That's what my gut tells me right now. And I have a 4-spot striker promoter strap, so I'm not thrilled about that. If anyone's going to be biased towards strikers, I feel like it would be me. Trickster is so weak across the board, other than Booker T, if you, like we talked about, if you want to be that guy or gal. Yeah, I would stay away from Trickster because really that is your option, right? And then that leaves us to the 3 that I think are good options. And here's so Acrobat, if you have HBK, if you have Warrior, if you have Liv, if you have Ray, and if you have Hall of Fame Brett, all of those can cover showdown and feud. And with your first 6-star choice, that versatility is super important. So you take acro tokens, worst case you're falling back to Ray if a month from now you don't have the shards you need, the special shards. You're falling back to Ray, Motu Triple H, somebody like that. So there's a ton of flexibility there, right? Shelton, like we talked, like I said, is good. RVD, there's just a lot of options. Dom, so acro, really good option. The other one is tech. Tech is absolutely loaded, both in good and in high shard count. And so you got Kofi, who can showdown and feud. You got Riddle, who can showdown and feud. You got Tech Asuka, who can showdown and feud. High shard count. You got like Techie, Asuka, Jay, and then as far as just good ones across the board, I still think you got Kofi's going to be super good. Riddle. Who else we got? Hall of Fame Snoop should be solid. Mutant Andre should be solid. But DX Triple H super good. Razor super good. Brock really good. So a ton of depth there. You can go male, you can go female. You have high shard count, so it gives you time to play around. And then you have Showboat. I mean, everyone knows I love my Showboats, right? Here's my thought process on Showboats and why. So for me, I have enough shards right now. The only gold that I have enough shards for is JBL. He is not my first option at all. However, he is going to have base 11 million health. If I put a vitality medals on him, he's going to be probably upwards of 18, 20 million health, something like that. He's got a kick out. He's going to be a hard thing to deal with. I have a promoter for him, and it's not like he will be able to beat up on 5-star golds and take forever to kill. And the matches will be long against 6-star bronzes, but I have other options there too. Molly is one of my top 2 females, I think, at 6-star. So if I can get enough shards for her, I can go the Molly route. Plus, they just announced new MLC, and it's a Showboat, Chad Gable. So my thought is I'm taking, almost 99% sure at the time of making this video, I'm taking 10 Showboat tokens, and then probably either 2 Acrobat or 2 Technician, or maybe I'll go 1 and 1. But I'll probably go 2 of 1. And then I'm going to wait all month before I decide on my 6-star. If I get enough shards for Molly, I'll go Molly. Unless I absolutely love Gable, and then I will try and hold back and get as many shards for him as I can. And maybe, depending on his class, maybe I'll go the star fill route and leave the 3-star and save the shards and take him 6-star, or at that point I'll just fall back to JBL. I feel like it won't hurt me. And with the other 2 classes, Acrobat and Tech, I feel like you can do the same sort of thing. Do you get enough shards for your Riddle, for your Kofi, for your new Triple H or the Razor, or do you fall back and go Becky, Asuka, Jay, that sort of thing, right? Hall of Fame Eddie, high shard count, he could do okay. Sako, surprisingly good sub and things like that. So that's the thought process and likely why I will take Showboat. So hopefully that kind of helps you guys narrow it down, tells you my thought process, why I'm going the way I am. Hopefully this list helps you guys, because really this is who you're fighting. Like if you use shards on Riddle, then you're basically saying, okay, I'm not gonna get Razor or level Razor up for a long time. If you don't have Razor, you don't worry about that, right? Or you got DX Army Triple H, so you're like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to level Ronda up forever. At the same token, you know, Tech Becky has a bunch of shards, so she won't hurt you from moving forward progress on DX Army Triple H, if that makes sense. So again, I would say my top two females are Liv and Molly right now. I think if I had Powerhouse Promoter, if you had a Powerhouse Promoter, Becky, Master of the Universe Becky, crazy good option too. If you don't care about promoters and you need a high shard count and you have the Titan plate, Seek is a really good shout. And things like that. I think Motu Austin, Mutant Roman, Rocker Sean, some of the best choices you could bring up. A big fan of Razor and DX Army Triple H, even more so if you got Razor's gear or both of Triple H's gears. HBK solid. So yeah, obviously Acro Snoop, if you have him, he's incredible. I wouldn't hesitate to take him. Same thing with KO and Mutant Seth, both really good. It's just a promoter thing is the only downside. So I think that's kind of my recap and early thoughts on a lot of those. I'm very interested to hear you guys' comments, like if you find this kind of helpful, this visual here. And let's go over to the portal actually, and let's check some of these out. So like Ray here at 6-star. So Ray has a 1 MP. He can choose a 2x2 area to make into multis. He can choose 3 gems to modify into row breaks. He can make the bottom 4 rows into multiply gems, only of strength 2, but he's got gear 2. If you have his gear, that can make a big difference. 1 row to make into multiply gems for 4 black. So he's got a lot of different stuff. His 6-star is choose 2 rows to destroy. It's only 5 MP. So you could do some stuff with that. You could choose, you know, destroy 2 full rows of multiply gems. So not probably amazing, but if you do have some of his gears, he can probably hold up okay for you, right? So I think there's some potential there. Becky is one of the great ones. Everyone just got a 4-star gold poster. Some people maybe not super impressed because they're used to really crazy good stuff, but that being said, for this you would want Becky's gear. It does add 300% silence gem damage, so basically all of the gems are going to be 3 times bigger. They're her primary gem, so you're looking at 17k base. That's before any other modifiers. And then if you have the Uso skill plate cap, you're going to get another 150% for 2 turns. The way you're going to run her is this body slam and the calf kick. No, not the calf kick. The body slam, the flying forearm smash right here, where you make 23 random gems into silence, and then yeah, then the calf kick. So those 3 right there, right? So you're gonna drop this in 23 random gems into silence gems. Then you're gonna make all of them into green gems. And then if you need to recycle, you're going to have this filled and choose 5 gems to make into black and do it all over. Every time you cycle, you're going to get 150% more gem damage on those silence gems. So the first time they're at 450%. If it goes turn 2, you're at 600%, and etc. etc. You would need 2 black MP trainers to start, or 1 black MP trainer and 17k Santa Hogan. So really good move set for a high shard count. She gets a big boost at tech. Kofi, another tech. Love Kofi's moveset. So, of course, his natural one is this one, make 2 random gems into green, 1 MP, so it's full right away. And then people would use usually a lot of times the finisher, sometimes they'd use the SOS, but usually the finisher. Russian leg sweep, 3 MP blue, increase your gem damage by 150% for 4 turns. Obviously, you're running Kofi with the Honky Tonk Man plate, so you match a green, this goes off, you hit this, etc. Well, now Kofi has an armbar. I wonder what Chris Jericho would say about that. 223,000 for 4 turns. It's like 8 million damage or something like that in feud. You are choosing 12, but you don't need to place 12. So to keep it quick, I would just put 1 in each corner. So place 4 gems, 1 in each corner. In feud, you could easily start with this loaded if you have 17k Santa Hogan, or just dual MP trainer, lose a little bit on the sub. And then you could drain them and go to the single, or you could use the singles and try and load it while buffing your gem damage. Andy can work in Showdown, so Kofi, that moveset, very strong. I think it's going to be really good and make him super annoying to deal with, both in Showdown and feud. So he can cover a lot of territory for you. And that's going to be important early on because you're only going to have one, it looks like, for a while. So if they can do feud and Showdown, that'll help you out. So there's that. Who else? Kind of interesting. Jay, high shard count one. He gets another countdown gem move. I don't know that he needs it. Before, you'd usually run him like with the choose 5 gems to destroy maybe, and then the 1 MP to make countdown gems sort of thing. Well, now he gets another one. It's 8 MP, but it's also the same color as the choose destroy. So that makes it a little more attractive, potentially, than the other ones. With a Z plate, you start throwing these out, and his damage can go up kind of quick. It's another option, not maybe amazing, but it's there at tech. Zombie Seth, this one is really interesting, because he makes so many countdown gems. Obviously, you would have a Z plate on him, and then 23k bonus damage for every countdown gem. He's going to have a bunch of those on the field, so another potential option that's possibly interesting. Sako gets a big sub. It's a purple. It's a lot of botch gems to place. You could do 4 corners. Another one almost as strong as Kofi, 17 botch gems, which would take a while to place. On the flip side, his one finisher does a lot of damage per botch gem. 32k per botch gem, so you could potentially do some stuff with that, because I believe he has a choose purple, so you could go purple finisher finally, and do that sort of thing. You would, on the downside, you'd have to get kind of creative with it, but he also has a kick out. He's got a 1 MP move, so there's some potential there for Showdown, maybe for feud. It's kind of interesting. I need to dig deeper into him, especially because I'm a mark, but kind of an interesting one. Riddle, of course, very good. Another possible a little bit higher shard count than some of these rare guys. Again, Showdown feud. Still making the multiply gems, 1 random, and then he makes them times 5, so he doesn't really get any better. He does get 2 rows to destroy. I don't really foresee wanting to do that, so he's really just more of the same, but he can cover feud, Showdown, big multiplies, you know, that sort of thing. Let me check my screen here again for some other ones, that maybe some surprise ones. Oh yeah, I think Sasha Striker had an interesting move, as I recall. Let me pull that back up. And she's a high shard count one. Her 6-star is a blue. Choose a 3x3 area to destroy. It's all interesting because her other blue set, all the blue moves, you're making power gems, and then you're swapping a random area, and if you don't pin, then you can finish with the destroy area and get those to tick too. So that's kind of interesting. You would lose the sub, but you could run triple blue and do some really interesting stuff. They're all 7 MP, so that's a possibility to maybe replace the sub. I don't know. but that I thought that was pretty interesting too. So there's that. Power gems don't look to scale quite as well, so keep that in mind. Let's see who else was on here that I thought was really interesting. Asuka, a lot of people know about, nothing new there. Well, I think maybe Beth got something kind of interesting as I recall. I don't know that it's enough, but let's pull Beth up because she's a high shard count. Is a powerhouse, so there's that. Choose 6 gems to destroy and it's black, so that could go okay with the sub that, you know, you're making multiplies, or the cross break move maybe. Turn the countdown gem that moves, so maybe something, I don't know, maybe not so sure about that. I'd have to dig into that one more. So yeah, I think that probably is gonna cover most of it. Oh yeah, Andrade, this is interesting. I don't know if this is right or not. Actually it probably isn't right, so I won't bother, but he's interesting. You can look him up if you want. I think those were a lot of the big ones. Mutant Priest, I don't know if he's... Oh, Austin. Showboat Austin.
What the hell?
Showboat Austin here. Let's check him out. Pop this up on the screen. He's got a blue that you, or a green that you make 9 reinforced gems into green. So the other green move, you're placing the reinforced gems, so you literally could cycle back and forth between the reinforced gems. He has his gear that adds reinforced gem damage, the Santa gear if you have that. So you would want to do that if you're going to do it. So if you have a high shard count of him, maybe that's something of interest to you. I don't know that it's amazing, but it's there, right? I really like I said, my JBL, not necessarily a huge improvement or anything, but he's kind of a fun option. So I think that'll probably do it, guys. If there's like a crazy great sleeper, Shelton gets a really nice move that you can kind of cycle a bunch with a bad attitude. Definitely worth looking at. RVD's 6-star, definitely worth looking at. You can do a lot with that. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys find this helpful. Hopefully I didn't make it harder. It's a big daunting decision. Like I said, I'm probably taking Showboat for the reason I said. Gonna take all month to decide who I actually level up. Fallback plan will be Tech or Acrobat, just because there's so many options, both free to play, high shard count, and good ones. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It went a really long time, so I doubt you'll make it through all of it right away. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, as that really helps me out. In fact, I went so long, Mrs. Mherex forgot I was recording.
Sorry.
It's okay, babe.
Really bad.
It's okay. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and good luck out there.